Ubisoft is in crisis mode. A series of flops and PR disasters have pushed them to the very brink. To visualize how dire things are for Ubisoft, just take a look at their stock performance. Meanwhile, Nintendo is positively flourishing. As the hype for Switch 2 goes into the stratosphere, hunger for Nintendo has arguably never been more ravenous. You see, while Nintendo has crafted a rock-solid reputation for quality and innovation, Ubisoft has kicked their reputation down a flight of stairs. For many years, Ubisoft has been a bit of a laughingstock in the gaming community, a meme, the butt of the joke. While it still has its powerhouse franchises, for now, the slow creep of apathy from gamers has finally reached shoulder-shrugging point. Let's be honest, Nintendo is a company that has done much wrong in its 13 decades in business, but Nintendo's strengths are almost a cruel inversion of Ubisoft's weaknesses, the two biggest being innovation and quality. Now I know what you're thinking. Nintendo being innovative conjures images of waggling a Wii remote at a 480p screen, or wrestling with Labo cardboard or something, but that isn't necessarily the innovation I'm talking about here.
One of Nintendo's biggest successes over the past decade is, of course, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and its enormous success is owed largely to some truly phenomenal innovative game design.
Yeah, and its phenomenal price points.
Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry have richly detailed worlds, but they don't inspire the same urge to explore like Breath of the Wild does. Why is that?
Because for all of Ubisoft's bellowing of buzzwords like open world and sandbox, all you're ever doing is riding the rails from place to place like a damn theme park ride. Yes, going off the beaten track isn't rewarding, unless you count collecting meaningless nonsense as rewarding. And let's not forget, player agency in a Ubisoft game is about as important as a tape measure at a Unix measuring competition.
Hell!
This is where Nintendo's innovation shines like a well-used A button. They took the open world concept and refined it into something extraordinary in Breath of the Wild, creating what many pundits and players believe to be the greatest video game of all time. Ubisoft could simply never make a game like Breath of the Wild. It's not that they don't have the talent or potential to do so, but their business model simply doesn't allow for this kind of game to be made. In the mid-2010s, Ubisoft stocks began this dizzy incline thanks to the success of games like Assassin's Creed Origins, and then Odyssey, Far Cry 4 and 5, Watch Dogs, Rainbow Six Siege, The Division, Ghost Recon Wildlands, The Crew, and the continued success of franchises like Just Dance and Rabbids. But at around the turn of the decade, things changed. Not just the global economic downturn during COVID, but a slew of sales disappointments, game delays, strategic failures such as the misguided move towards live service models, a decline in game quality, public criticisms from investors over management, not to mention the damning allegations of misconduct and hundreds of redundancies. Couple all this with a financial addiction to a conveyor belt of yearly releases with ever-stagnating game design, and it was all just a recipe for disaster. Ubisoft's high-flying balloon finally burst, and it came falling down to earth like a stab-happy hood ninja into a conveniently placed haystack. All the ground they made during their peak years has been washed away.
If they just stuck to their proven business model, at least they'd have a consistent product. But they can't even do that! Look at how Far Cry 6 turned out. Sloppy, buggy, boring, paint by numbers, lowest common denominator crap.
The Assassin's Creed games are still really popular.
I hated Origins and Odyssey. Valhalla was passable, at best. The Division 3 is apparently in limbo, and to be honest, it can stay there. The Crew is shit, even when it's good. Star Wars Outlaws managed to be even worse than what EA could scrape together, and the less said about Watch Dogs, the better.
What about Just Dance?
I have my dignity. Playing an older Assassin's Creed game now is like trying to sweep a dead octopus into a drawstring sack.
What Nintendo has is very special, and it took decades to craft. For many gamers, it's a done deal that they will play the next Mario or Zelda game because they know Nintendo's reputation. The games barely age, barely drop in price, and tend to be stylized in such a way that a quick spit polish is all it takes to bring them bang up to date. So many Ubisoft games age horribly due to their insistence on trends and realism, and as such are only really defined by their latest franchise entry. I know, Nintendo often stumbles. I'm not suggesting they're the epitome of perfection or morality, but what they have done, arguably better than any other, is stay anchored to their fundamental principles of innovation, quality, and above all, fun. Inject all this into a long-term strategy, and you have a formidable recipe. Ubisoft will be lucky if they're still around in 5 years.
What do you think Ubisoft should do to turn the tide? Tell you what, comment what you think below, and we'll see what people say.
I already know what they should do.
I thought you might.
Focus on quality and fun over quantity and addictive nonsense. Stop it with the money-grabbing predatory bullshit. Get some gamer-first goodwill built up, get a positive reputation going, and for heaven's sake only launch games when they're finished.
What Ubisoft can learn from Nintendo isn't just about making better games, it's about fostering a love for the craft and an environment that allows the very talented people that work there to shine through.
Ubisoft had the potential, the IP and the resource to be forever a titan in the gaming world, just like Nintendo. I hope they can get back on their feet, okay?
Ah, me too. Maybe Assassin's Creed Shadows will buck the trend. Sorry, couldn't say that with a straight face. And don't forget to comment what you think Ubisoft should do to turn things around below. We will read them. Well, Biffa and Hev will read them. I won't. I've got better things to do. Now, where did I put that copy of Just Dance Disney Party 2?